When a black family sets up for a sunny day barbecue in a suburban park, their joy is cut short by the arrival of aggressive cops accusing them of trespassing. But the officers are in for a rude awakening. The calm, reserved father they're trying to intimidate is a high-ranking FBI agent. The scent of seasoned ribs, sweet corn on the cob, and hickory smoke hung thick in the air, a savory cloud over the sun-drenched clearing of Westbrook Park. Children laughed as they chased each other between picnic tables. Frisbees flew over neatly trimmed grass, and grown-ups chatted in folding chairs under shade trees. It was Sunday afternoon, and for the Thompsons it was a sacred family tradition. Barbecue Sunday, a long-standing ritual of food, fun, and reconnection. This particular Sunday was special. It marked the birthday of little Simone Thompson, who was turning 6. Her face was lit with glee as she danced around the cake table in a purple princess dress, tiara glinting in the sun. Calvin Thompson stood by the grill, his FBI badge tucked quietly in the back pocket of his cargo shorts, hidden from view. He wasn't a boastful man, never felt the need to flaunt his status. A 17-year veteran of the Bureau, he worked in counterterrorism and had recently returned from a multi-agency task force operation overseas. He cherished these moments with his family more than anything else, especially after years of missed birthdays and nights away. His wife, Danielle, fussed over the sides: macaroni salad, baked beans, and collard greens, each dish made from recipes passed down through generations. The day was nearly perfect until it wasn't. It began with a single police cruiser rolling slowly along the gravel path near the park entrance. No sirens, no lights, just a pair of eyes watching from behind tinted glass. Calvin noticed it but didn't react. Cops patrolled the area often, but then a second car arrived, then a third. Within minutes, 4 officers in full uniform and body armor walked toward the gathering, hands resting on their belts. The air shifted. Conversations grew quiet. Laughter faded. The children sensed it first, how joy can turn tense without words. Simone clutched her mother's leg, her tiara slightly askew, uncertain why the grown-ups had stopped smiling. "Can I help you, officers?" Calvin asked evenly, placing the tongs on the side of the grill and wiping his hands on a towel. His voice was measured, calm. Years of interrogation training taught him how to maintain control in any situation. "Got a call about an unauthorized group gathering in the park," one officer said. His name tag read, Officer J. Kendrick. He had a tight jaw and sunglasses that hid his eyes. Calvin blinked. "This is a public park. We have a permit. My wife filed it last month." "We're gonna need to see that," Kendrick replied. Danielle stepped forward, producing the laminated copy of the permit from her tote bag. "Here, signed and approved by the Parks Department. It even has the reservation number." Kendrick took the paper without a word, glancing over it briefly before handing it to another officer. But his posture didn't relax. If anything, he looked irritated. "You folks from around here?" he asked, eyes scanning the group, mostly black families from neighboring subdivisions, mixed in with a few friends and co-workers of various backgrounds. "Yes, we live 5 minutes away," Danielle said. "Got IDs on you?" Kendrick continued. "All adults?" There was a pause. A murmur of confusion rippled through the crowd. Calvin stepped forward slightly, his stance still non-threatening but firm. "May I ask under what grounds you're requesting identification from citizens lawfully gathered in a public space?" Kendrick's sunglasses turned toward him. "Like I said, we got a call. Need to make sure everyone here is accounted for and not violating any ordinances." Another officer added, "Somebody said it looked like a gang gathering." Danielle gasped. "A gang? This is a child's birthday party!" Simone started to cry, clutching tighter to her mother. "Look," Calvin said, voice calm but ice-edged. "You have the permit. No laws are being broken here. Unless you can articulate a crime, I suggest you stand down and let these families enjoy the day." Kendrick stepped forward. "You raising your voice at me?" "No, officer," Calvin said, "but I am asserting our rights." "Hands where I can see 'em!" Kendrick barked suddenly, drawing attention from everyone in the park. The other officers stiffened, one unhooking the strap on his holster. Danielle stepped between Calvin and the officer, tears in her eyes. "Please, this is a birthday party. We're not doing anything wrong." By now, the crowd was watching intently. Some people began filming with their phones, capturing the tension, the escalation, the trembling hands of a frightened child as her celebration dissolved into dread. Calvin slowly raised his hands, locking eyes with Kendrick. "You really want to do this?" he asked, voice low. "You want to humiliate a family in front of their kids over a barbecue in a public park?" "Name," Kendrick demanded, "and occupation." Calvin took a breath. He wasn't going to flash his badge right away. He didn't want to lead with authority, didn't want to use his position as a shield. But this situation was spiraling. He turned to Danielle. "Honey, can you go to the car?" Danielle hesitated. "In the glove box," he added. She nodded and went. The officers didn't stop her. A few seconds later, she returned holding a slim leather case. Calvin opened it carefully and displayed the shiny gold badge and ID card inside. "Special Agent Calvin Thompson, Federal Bureau of Investigation. Serial number 91432C, clearance level 4. I suggest you contact your watch commander immediately." The effect was instant. Kendrick blinked. His confidence wavered. That could be fake. Calvin pulled out his phone. "Let me dial the local field office. You can speak directly to Assistant Director Mendez, or we can call the precinct and I'll ask for your superior by name." Another officer pulled Kendrick aside. They whispered urgently. The energy shifted again, this time to stunned silence. The officers retreated a few steps, clearly rattled. "I served 2 tours overseas," Calvin continued, voice steady, now addressing the entire crowd. "I've investigated terror cells, broken international trafficking rings, and helped protect this country from threats foreign and domestic. And you want to harass me in front of my daughter because we're having a barbecue in the park?" Nobody answered. The shame was thick. "I don't need an apology," Calvin added, "but I do expect accountability." Kendrick muttered something unintelligible and motioned for his officers to back off. They returned to their cars, eyes low, engines grumbling as they slowly rolled away from the park. But they didn't turn on the lights. No sirens, no urgency, just quiet defeat. The silence that followed was heavy. People looked around at one another, unsure of what to say. Simone still clung to Danielle, confused and scared. Calvin knelt in front of his daughter. "Hey, baby," he whispered. "It's okay. Daddy's here. Nothing's gonna happen to us." She sniffled and nodded. Danielle hugged them both. Others began to gather closer, offering hugs, handshakes, quiet support. One of the younger cousins, a college student named Darius, came forward. "Uncle Calvin, that was incredible, but does this happen often?" Calvin sighed. "More than you'd think. Doesn't matter how many degrees I have or what title I carry. Some folks still see only what they want to see." Later that evening, as the sun dipped below the tree line and the birthday candles were blown out, Calvin sat on a folding chair sipping a soda, watching the children play. The park had returned to peace, but the scars of the encounter lingered. A news van had shown up after someone uploaded a video of the incident. By morning, it would be all over social media. Another example of racial profiling caught on camera. Another headline, another moment of injustice turned viral. But Calvin didn't care about the cameras. He cared about his daughter. He'd made a quiet decision. First thing Monday morning, he'd file a formal complaint against the officers with the city's Office of Police Accountability. And then he'd reach out to the mayor's office, not for revenge, but to demand change. Because next time, the father might not be an FBI agent. Next time, the family might not have proof, or a badge, or a calm demeanor. Next time, it could go differently. And that was unacceptable. In a world full of noise, we follow the quiet truths, stories that reveal, awaken, and transform. If this story moved you, like, comment, and subscribe for more untold narratives that challenge perception and stir the soul. Hit the bell so you never miss when the compass points us to the next hidden truth. This is Hidden Compass Stories, where every story leads somewhere deeper.